So guys, I know this is a very long video, but I want you to understand that even if your tablet isn't this exact model, a lot of the techniques and things you see me use, you will be able to use to fix your tablet. So you might be watching this just as to get some educational references to fix another device, whether it's a tablet or a phone. A lot of the times, once you get them open, this is what they're like inside. So just keep that in mind. Okay guys, what I'm going to be doing today is replacing the screen and digitizer on this 2013 Nexus 7, also known as the Nexus 2nd Gen. This particular tablet has a broken digitizer. You might be able to see the cracks in it, and the LCD screen actually still works, but the digitizer is broken and it's not taking any input from a finger touch or anything like that. Now, what I bought is a new LCD screen and digitizer. Now, it is possible to replace only the digitizer, but it's a lot more troublesome. It involves heating it up and trying to get the digitizer off of the screen. And just to make a long story short, we're not going to do that. We're just going to replace both. It only cost me $32 to get this, and we're going to show you that today. Now first, I'm going to get started. I'm going to show you some of the tools we're going to be using. This actually came with the kit, these screws. We have a T6 torque screw, a T5, just a small Phillips. Got a couple of pry tools here, another pry tool, a suction cup. You can use this to actually put suction on your screen and pull it off once you get some heat on it. I've got a razor blade. Now I'd like to have an X-Acto knife, but I couldn't find it, so I'm going to be using this razor blade. I've got some 3M double-sided tape. Mine is 2mm thick. I would like to have thicker, but I'll be able to get by with this. I'll show you this later. I also have an iSesamo. You might see a lot of people with these. Obviously, you don't absolutely have to have this, but sometimes it makes it nice. I've got a heat gun. Gonna need this to get the glue pliable and to remove the screen on one of the parts. And then also, I've got this goof off. This is gonna allow me to get the glue off of the surfaces and get it all clean. Then I can put the new double-sided tape on and everything can stick on real nicely. So these are the things you're gonna wanna have before you get started. All right, now getting this screen off is getting the case off of the screen is fairly simple. You just want to get something and start prying it at the corners. And you might be wanting to attempt it once you get it to just start pulling it like that, but if you do that, you will crack the screen. So you go ahead and be sure to just run something along it and actually unlatch these hooks. And that finished getting it off there. All right, so now we've got the back cover off. Set that off to the side. Now we have the tablet. Here we have the battery, and this tablet basically has two motherboards. And so let's start removing some stuff. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo the battery from the power. A pair of tweezers are nice. Okay guys, I sped up this section because in the next section I showed this, but I'm zoomed in and you can see it a lot better. All right, just so now that we have a little bit more detail on what we're seeing. So far I've removed the battery. From there, I remove the tape from this area. Then I lifted that ribbon cable. Then I also lifted this little tan piece, lifted that up 90 degrees, and I was able to take this ribbon cable out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove the ribbon cable from the other side as well. So just again, I'm gonna pop this up to 90 degrees. All right, there we go. And that unlocks it. Take my ribbon cable fully out. Just set that off to the side. So I should be able to take out this battery now. Go ahead and take out these 4 screws. Okay, so that allowed me to lift the battery right on out. Set that off to the side. Okay. Okay. Start working on this, this little plug here, which is actually just the plug for this speaker on this side. Just gonna work it out little by little. Let's see if I can maybe grab it. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get this other one while I'm at it. All right, got those both out. And I'm gonna get these, and when you're pulling these up, hold down your cable so you don't just start ripping your cable up, because you could these could tear and you'd be in bad shape. So again, I'm gonna pop up both of these lock sockets, the little tan deals, pop those up 90 degrees, and that'll allow me to remove this ribbon cable out of both of these sockets. All right, so there we go. There. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting these screws out on this side. These are just the Phillips. The kit came with T5 and T6 torque screwdrivers, but I don't think you're gonna need them. I'm gonna go ahead and take these screws out on this side. Stop. Got another small ribbon cable here for the power and volume buttons. Okay, it looks like this motherboard seems to be a little bit stuck, but I think what's going on, I think there's some adhesive holding down part of this ribbon cable on the back side, and I think this motherboard is just kind of stuck to it. So I'm gonna try to just slowly and gently pry this up. Definitely more prying that I would like to see. Oh, see, there was a screw missing. All right, there's a screw right here with a piece of tape over it. On that tape it said seal. And that made it look like it wasn't a screw, and it actually was. Okay. So now I got that removed. So that would be same thing on this side. right, got that motherboard out. And need to also get this ribbon cable. Same thing, 90 degrees, unlocks the cable and get it out of there. The speaker comes out. This speaker comes out. All right, so now let's start looking at the two deals here. So it looks like this is some kind of heat shielding type material. So I'm gonna wanna try to take this off of here, off of this one, and put it on this one. Okay, when you are taking out this side of the motherboard or this motherboard, you take out this ribbon cable, and this is for the power and volume buttons. So you got that removed. And then next, when you take out the motherboard, you're gonna wanna pry out the camera at the same time. Because if you don't, the camera may stay in there and that might cause some damage to the ribbon cable that's actually holding the camera in there. So I was able to get that out there. Now we're gonna be using a heat gun. I'm gonna start out on low and see if I can get this to come off with low heat. With the heat gun, you don't want to stay in any one area too long because the heat gun does get really hot and you could potentially melt some plastic. So you're going to want to just keep it moving, going around the perimeter. And all you're really trying to do is loosen up the glue that's holding the glass on. See what we got. All right, I'm gonna take my suction cup that came with this. Now, of course, you can just use any pry tool, but suction cups do make it nice. Let's see if it will start to come off. All right, so far I don't really have anything. I'm giving it a little more heat this time. I went ahead and put it on high, but I'm making sure that I don't stay in any one place too long. It's definitely got some heat on it. So let's see. I can just pry. I don't know if you can see that, but I was able to get the Sesamo in between the glass and the plastic frame. And I was able to get so far and it started to get really tough. So I'm gonna start giving it some more heat and just start working it around. I'm gonna go with low heat again, because I'm kind of unplugged. My glass is kind of breaking. Let me go in again. To be honest, guys, this is not one of the easier fixes out there, but there's just no way around it. It's either this, buy a whole new one, or pay someone. In times like this, paying someone else might start looking real good to some of you. But that's kind of the cool thing about being able to look at these videos, because you can see what's actually involved and can make the decision if this is something you think you want to take on or if it's not. We're getting there. So for this reason, if you can find a screen digitizer with the frame, you won't even have to do this. You'll be just taking this part off and replacing the whole thing. As you can see, removing the digitizer and the screen from the frame, it's going to end up causing some damage. It wasn't so bad that I could no longer use it, but it's not the best.
All right, this I've got most of it off, but just kind of prying and stuff. Parts of it's broken and parts of it's remain, so I'm kind of just going through and getting the remaining parts that kind of broke off. And be careful of getting cut. Ooh, it's hot. Because there are plenty of glass shards at this point. All right. All right, now I've just got the sticky nail, and I'm gonna try to get as much residue as I can off of here. Then I'm gonna use the goof off, spray it on my rag, use some paper towels. Spray just a little bit. All right, got that pretty clean now. Okay. On the particular screen that I bought, it doesn't have adhesive tape already on it. In hindsight, I really wish I bought the kind that did, but I didn't. So I'm gonna have to put on my own adhesive tape. So that's just something to think about, guys. When you're buying one, just look for one with adhesive, because the ones with adhesive, it's on more area and it's just easier. It goes for a quicker install. But for the purpose of this video, this will give me an opportunity to show you how to use this. This should be on a nice little roll, but it just got kind of old, probably sitting in my trunk of my car or something. But anyway, this is some double-sided 3M tape. What I'm gonna do, this is 2 millimeters thick. I'm gonna run it here, probably a couple of strips here, maybe 5 or 6 strips here. And basically everywhere where I see glue residue is where I'm gonna try to add this tape.
So as you can see, I've got the adhesive tape, kind of all over the place. And in several places, I had to double, triple, or even quadruple it so I could get enough stickiness to hold everything together. So now I'm going back with my razor blade and I'm removing the other side of the double-sided tape, the barrier that holds the stickiness back.
All right, now I've got my double-sided tape all stuck to my frame. I'm gonna now pay close attention to the orientation of where your camera is and the hole for your camera and your frame. And when you're lining this up, just be careful to just start in the corners and just try to get this perfectly. Let's see. We start in these corners here. And wanna be sure to pull back the ribbon cable as you're pushing it in. And you want to be careful with the glass. It can break easily. This particular frame has been dropped many times, and to be honest, I'm surprised the glass lasted this long. And so the frame has definitely taken its fair share of beatings, but I think we're going to be okay. All right. So now it's just simply time to put everything back together. And so go ahead and install the actual ribbon cables before I put the screws in, and that way it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to actually get these ribbon cables in here.
Hey guys, for some reason the sound for this last section of the video, it just went completely messed up. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit of narration to explain what I'm doing, but essentially I'm just doing everything in reverse order than what I did the first time. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this play in full time, and I might say a little bit here and there. So as you can see, I'm getting the speaker section in here. So here's the cable that connects the motherboard to the daughter board, and just be cognizant of how the ribbon cable is going in there. Make sure it's fully seated, and you just gotta be delicate, guys. You can't be getting in a rush with this. You're gonna tear it up. See, it's very important that it gets seated evenly across all the little pins on the ribbon cable. So as you can see, I'm making sure that both sides are pressed firmly in there all the way. If it was a little bit sideways, we might put this whole thing back together and it might not work, or the touch might not work, or the back lighting maybe not work. So you just have to pay attention to all that, small details. I went ahead and sped this portion up a little bit. If you really need to see it, you can go back to how I took it apart, but even you can probably still make it out because I'm actually working pretty slowly. But you can just see all the little connections that I'm making. Just right here, there's a speaker. That's the power for the speakers going back in. Putting the screws back in. So before I put it all back together, I'm gonna try to power it on to make sure it's working. And as we can see, it works. This is a new LCD that is powering up. And one thing I would like to say about these replacement LCDs, I got this particular one off of AliExpress. They are hard to find, and it definitely was not OEM. It was not as a clear LCD. It didn't look as good, and the digitizer was not as responsive. So if you could get your hands on a genuine screen and digitizer, or maybe even a tablet that doesn't work for some other reason, and you can maybe rob that digitizer, you would be in a much better position, because this one's just not very good. If you could also cannibalize another tablet that had the screen and better not the screen but the frame in better shape, that would also be of great advantage for you. So here we are, guys. It's booted up and it's working. We got a working digitizer, we have a working LCD screen, and this tablet is back in business, only for my son to tear it up once again. It's actually has been broke for a long time, since the time I shot this video and the time of actually editing. But that's how it is with kids, guys. We know what it is. So now putting this back cover back on, and the frame is really fragile, but the back cover does help hold everything all together. And then once I put the case back on, that helps a lot too. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is just how you kind of keeps things going. If you just run out and buy a new product for your kid every time they break something, you're going to be out of a lot of money. So doing things yourself is going to help a lot with that. So here's the case. And I think this was in the case even when it got broke. I don't know what happened to it, but this case provides a lot of protection, but the screen still ended up breaking. But once it's back in there, as you can see, the little jagged edges on that frame is all covered. Everything is good and ready to go now.